second city, but first in every team. Champion town, got trophies and them rings. Bulls on tap, we coming for everything. Yeah. Tap sports, we coming for everything. Yeah. It's apparent, nobody talking better than Melissa and Derek. They hate to compare it. Us and women's placed in the marriage, forever we cherish. Got opinions on the Bulls, who better to share it. I know you wish you can be cool as we foolishly and never be number one against our legends 2 and 3. Don't act like y'all don't know who you hear, who you see. Bulls on tap sports. Y'all know who we be. For real. Word.
What's up, Bulls Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Bulls on Tap podcast, presented to you by On Tap Sports Network. I'm your host, Derek, and tonight it's just me, Oos. Yeet. Shout out Morris, who's my usual fill-in co-host, feeling under the weather, so get well soon to Morris. My usual co-host, Melissa, she's taking a PDA day, celebrating her mom's birthday, so happy birthday to Melissa's mom. But had to get on here and talk Bulls with you. Samity, what's up, my guy? Yeah, that game last night, that's I had to get on because wow, that was the most improbable Bulls win I think I've ever seen. We were down 5 points with like 10 seconds left, and you see what happened. Pat Williams, shout out Pete Will, because the whole Bulls Nation as a whole is giving Pete Will a lot of shit, and he's deserved it. But last night he came in clutch. He knocked that 3 down in LeBron's face. Giddey got the steal, kicked it out to Coby, another 3. Bulls go up. Austin Reeves comes down to scores, and the Bulls, no timeouts. Josh Giddey, half court, in LeBron's face yet again. Swish. And that's like the most improbable Bulls win you will ever see. But man, that was so much joy right there. I mean, I can show you better than I can tell you. Let this load up real quick. I mean, not only did Josh drain this 3 from half court in LeBron's face, held the gooseneck follow. And if you see LeBron's face in the back, man, that brought me so much joy. A game winner on LeBron's head by Josh Giddey. The Bulls have now won, I believe, 10 of their last 12 games. And wait. Somebody says Giddey and Coby were on Spotify today too. A great time, man. Yes. I always love the Lakers losing. Hey, I don't even care if it's the Lakers as long as it's LeBron. Whatever team LeBron's on and LeBron gets an L hound going by the Bulls, it's the best feeling in the world for me. Yeah, the Bulls have won like 10 of their last 12. They are in the 9th spot and a game and a half out of the 8th spot. So, yeah, the Bulls are coming for a higher play-in seed, and they're going to look to actually make the playoffs. And I know a lot of people are going to ask, like, okay, what does that do for the Bulls going forward? Is it really worth it to make into the playoffs and be completely out of the draft lottery? And I believe it does, because you're getting the young guys valuable playoff experience, even if they get swept or gentleman sweep or whatever happens, because you need to see how this group performs in the playoffs. Mainly Giddey and Coby, who have been tearing it up the last month, And you need to see like, hey, how do these guys perform as the main guys in a playoff situation, big pressure games, to let you further evaluate, is this the backcourt of the future? Do we build around and build with Coby and Giddey? Can that lead to a contending team adding around them and hopefully get back to playing for championships? Shout out Alejandro, local Bulls fan. Said he had no idea Genie sold the Lakers to Giddey. Hey, build a statue, Jerry, of Giddey holding the gooseneck and LeBron in the background. But yeah, I mean, we need to see, can those two, Coby and Giddey, can they perform well together as a unit in playoff situations? I've seen the name tossed around for the duel being the Fro and the Flow. So I don't know if Bulls Nation is going to adapt that, but hey, I'll roll with it for right now. Yeah, I mean, because March, you hear a lot of people saying, "Hey, it's March." Some teams, they know they're not making the postseason. They don't care. Some teams are resting their stars. Whatever, have you. Don't take everything in March at its face value. Cool. That's fine and all. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. You can say, hey, March, hey, the Bulls beat the Nuggets without Joker. They beat the Pacers without Halliburton. The group that started this season still would have lost those games. And we've seen it. Teams had their stars out or they were missing players and they still would beat the Bulls. So you got to take that as some sign of progress that, hey, they would have lost these games earlier in the season with that group that they had. Since the All-Star break and the trade, the Bulls are beating the teams that they should beat. And you just seen them beat the Lakers twice, and LeBron and Luka played both of those games. Last night was like the most impressive win out of this whole hot streak to me, because Coby did not have it going for most of the game. Giddey was, filling stat sheets, grabbing rebounds, assists, scoring here and there, which of course he ended up with a triple-double, but that was kind of keeping the Bulls afloat. And they just kept fighting, kept clawing their way back in. And then, that fourth quarter came around and it was Coby time, essentially. Him and everybody basically on the Bulls just went off. I think they were like 10 of 14 from three in that quarter. They outscored the Lakers by a lot, and they came back. They held it down. Simony says he's always curious how Billy and the players adjust in a series where a team is game planning just on them. Exactly. That's what we need to see. I mean, we kind of saw it with the Lakers because they played twice within a week. And, the Lakers came out in that second game defending a whole lot different, where they had like three guys on Coby like at all times. And it took them a while to get adjusted, but he came up clutch in the fourth quarter and started doing Coby things. We need to see if that can consistently happen within a playoff series, because there's going to be adjustments game to game. So even though this is like a mini series, if you want to call it that, since it's just two games, we need to see in the playoffs, how can they handle it? Is it going to look like that this backcourt is a part of the future? Chris, what's going on, man? Thanks for tapping in. So yeah, I mean, and shout out to all the Giddey believers who from the start were saying, oh no, Giddey's good. He's going to do good on this team, because I was one of the many doubters. I did not think that we needed to keep Giddey, especially with the first half of the season, how that went. And it just wasn't looking too hot, especially if he wanted 30 million. It's like, you maybe can find something else and build around this team some other way. But shout out to Giddey because he's been balling. A lot of the issues he was having earlier in the season and the knocks on him coming into the Bulls, he improved on a great bit. He's been better on defense. He's knocking down like 50% of his 3-point shots. Granted, they're wide open 3-point shots, but hey, you have to knock down those wide open shots. He's been getting all the way to the basket. And I think that even made last night more impressive because before he got that steal, before he hit that half court game winning shot, he airballed the floater. And if it was last season in OKC or maybe even earlier in the season with the Bulls, once he airballed that floater, he would have been down on himself. And that's pretty much all she would have wrote for Giddey that game. You see now, he airballed the floater, but he went right back hustling and got that steal on LeBron, and he had the confidence to knock down a half-court game winner. So that's another sign of growth in Giddey. Somebody says, as Bulls Troy said, Giddey is the new prime minister of Australia. Hey, shout out my boy Troy. He has been defending Giddey left and right since the season started. That's a true fan right there. And even Coby. Coby was always he was a streaky shooter. Coby's game depended on if he was hot from three. It depended on if he was hot from three, whether he could contribute. Now he's scoring from the mid-range. He's getting to the cup. And more importantly, he's getting to the foul line, him and Giddey. So that's a big thing with how the Bulls are playing and how it is sustainable for Coby and Giddey to be balling and be successful as a backcourt is them getting to the free throw line, because the great scorers in the NBA figured out that if you can get to the free throw line multiple times a night, you can get some easy points. You don't have to work as hard. And then, maybe you get your opponent in foul trouble. Maybe the free throws get your rhythm going, and now you are cooking from outside. It does so much in such an important aspect. And if Coby and Giddey have both figured out, hey, I'm getting to the free throw line, and until they stop me, that's going to open up a lot for the Bulls, and that's how they're going to stay successful. And it's not just going to be, oh, it's March. Things change, opinions change on players. I'm definitely for keeping Giddey around now. And with that said, I have to give credit to Billy Donovan. Everybody knows that it's kind of hurting me to say this, but shout out Billy Donovan, man. He has been coaching these young guys, and he has been getting the best out of Coby and Giddey. And didn't agree with how he had a quick hook on Modest, but even Modest has said that he credits Billy Donovan for sitting him out when he needs to and holding him accountable. And if Modest is okay with that, then I'm okay with that. I mean, it worked for Giddey. We saw early in the season, Billy would sit him down because he was playing atrocious defense. Giddey said, hey, I need to get better on that end. And then he got better on that end. Coby has said Billy always stays on his ass. And now you see Coby has scored 20 or more points, 14 straight games, career high for him. Samidity says, I think we all need to give Billy his props. Yeah, I mean, props to Billy. Maybe Billy was kind of handcuffed earlier with those other teams, and vets being stuck in their ways and how they wanted to play. I'm not throwing shots at DeMar or Zach, but Billy set Zach that one game and it didn't go well. He set Giddey out and Giddey said, "Hey, I need to be better." So I mean, like I said, he may do better with a younger team. It may have been the best for Billy to get these younger guys that will buy into the system. He was a great coach in college when Florida State won 2 championships. Of course, you got, an immense talent like Joakim Noah, Al Horford, but they're young. They were willing to buy into what Billy said, and Joakim Noah still talks about how great of a coach Billy Donovan is, even though me and most of the Bulls Nation were looking like, maybe in college, but hey, maybe now he's got that young crop of talent that he can mold that are going to buy into his system, that are going to play that fast-paced style and get up and down and shoot threes. That may work out best for Billy. I've seen the Grizzlies coach get fired, and some Bulls fans are saying, "Hey, get him into Chicago. Tyler Jenkins, get him here." And I just don't think that now would be the best time to fire Billy, because they are succeeding under him. Local Bull says, "Do you think Giddey, Coby would be playing like this if Zach was still here?" Again, this is not a knock on Zach, but I do not think Coby and Giddey would be playing like that simply because they would not have the opportunity to play like that with Zach here, because Zach would be the number one option still, and that eliminates a lot of shots right there, because you have to get Zach his shots and feed him. So yeah, I think moving Zach freed up Giddey to have that opportunity and Coby to have that opportunity to get those touches that would have been for Zach, and for them to just start cooking. And shout out Kevin Huerter. I was ragging on him when he came because he had a bad first week. Maybe he just needed to get adjusted to a new team. He quietly put together a solid game last night, and he's definitely looking like a good kind of a veteran piece to keep around this team, that knows how to play his role. So yeah, shout out to him. Alondro agreed with Coby and Josh not having those opportunities with Zach. Chris said, "For real, Billy's been doing a good job as late." Yeah, I agree. Maybe Billy needed this. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's all about the fit of a team, and fit of not only the players fit with each other, but the fit of the coaching style. So I don't know, man. We're going to enjoy this run that the Bulls are going on right now. I think we got 9 games left in the regular season. April is like full of winnable games, so it's very possible that the Bulls maybe catch the Magic. I think are still in the 8th spot. Let me check that really quickly. Yes, the Magic are still in the 8th spot. The Hawks aren't that far out either, because the Bulls are 2 games back of the 7th seed, 1.5 games back of the 8th seed. They could definitely, I think, catch the Magic. They have the tiebreaker over the Magic, so all they would have to do is, have the same record as them. The month of April for the Bulls is like cupcake schedule wise. You got the Toronto Raptors, who are tanking. The Trailblazers aren't good. Charlotte's tanking, and today they announced that LaMelo Ball is out for the rest of the season because he's undergoing 2 minor ankle surgeries. They have Cleveland, but at that point, being the last week of the season, who knows if Cleveland rests their guys. You got Miami. You got the Washington Wizards who are tanking, and then you have last game of the season in Philly, the 76ers, who are tanking. And don't expect Joel Embiid to be playing that game. But yeah, coming forward, like the Bulls are back in action tomorrow. They're playing the Dallas Mavericks. That could be a kind of competitive game, especially with Anthony Davis back and Booch covering Anthony Davis. That is one opinion that has not changed for me. Vooch needs to go yesterday. Hoping they find some type of deal to get him out of here during the off season. We looked better, much better on defense when we had Zach Collins and Jalen Smith playing the centers. Somebody says might need the two big lineup when playing the Mavericks. That's possible. Especially are Gafford and Lively back, because you definitely might want to run a two big lineup there. I would hope it would be a lot of Zach Collins and Jalen Smith together and that Vooch. But after the Dallas Mavericks, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, that's going to be a game. But no, the Bulls are looking like they could at least win the majority of the games that they have left. Not sure exactly of the Magic schedule and who they play, but I am going to consciously optimistically say that the Bulls are going to catch the Magic and they enter the playoffs as the 7th seed. Yeah, Boston. I think they can still win. Either way, like you got to get that playoff experience for this group to see who can handle those type of situations and who needs to be around for how the Bulls are going to build. Shout out my guy John and see Red to the deathbed. I mean, yes, because clearly I don't think we're getting a draft pick, a lottery pick. We'll have maybe 12th to 15th. So I don't think the Bulls are really going to build through the lottery. It's more of Arturas Kardashevis MO to try to trade for a star. So maybe somebody becomes disgruntled and they want to change the scenery. They ask for a trade, and the Bulls could have some cap space. They control all their draft picks going forward. So he could throw 2-3 to get a star here and place them with Giddey and Coby and Modest. So we'll see. I do not see the Bulls trying to bottom out for a draft pick at all, though, unless something goes completely disarray to start the season next season, and maybe they do end up being in the mix for a top 2026 draft pick. But if everything is going to plan for Kardashevis, he don't expect him to build with a lottery pick. He'll try to trade and get a star in here, similar to what he did with trying to get putting that team together with Zach, DeMar, AC, Vooch, Lonzo. It didn't work out, but he's going to hold on to the belief it didn't work out because of the injury to Lonzo. And if it only takes one, it just wasn't a solid plan to begin with. But no, maybe he'll have better luck this time. Maybe he's learned some things. Maybe he will still let the market kind of set a price on Giddey, even though there's not really any teams with cap space to sign him to a big offer sheet. So he's going to get his bag. Probably get around 25, 28 million, I believe. Uh, yeah, John says this AK have the ability to trade for a star. We, we don't know. Um, I mean, they're higher end stars and they're lower end stars. So if you want to consider like DeMar DeRozan as a lower end star, he's done it before. But the Bulls are going to need a higher end star, I believe, if they want to take the next step and start competing for a championship. And hey, who's to say maybe Kobe White and Giddey both take another step. Maybe Modest comes along a little bit quicker than people thought. I mean, I think Modest could turn into a star with his abilities, add some weight, but that may still be 2 or 3 years from now. But like I said, maybe it accelerates. Maybe something just clicks in him this offseason and he comes into his sophomore year like ready to go for it. Semity says find young players who are unhappy or not getting enough playing time. Yep, that's been the way he's pretty much built this team. Got Giddey, he got Jalen Smith, and then you bring in Trey Young and Kevin Herter and Zach Collins on that Zach trade. They were kind of out of their rotations with their teams, and they've all been instrumental into this Bulls run, this new look. So yeah, I mean, that seems to be his plan. He wants to get young guys that have some experience. Somebody says Jabari Smith Jr. got moved to the bench. That could be something. Hey, it could be. That might work very well with the. I'm guessing this is the core three as of right now. It's Coby, Giddey, and Modest. So that could work very well with those three. Of course, you have the situation with paying Coby, paying Io. Maybe we're throwing a curveball and Coby is traded, and I think the fan base would absolutely pick back up their pitchforks and torches right now. The majority of them. Some people would say, "Hey, you got to sell high," but I don't know. I think Coby needs to stay around. I would like to see Io stay around too. It all depends on how much Giddey gets and other moves that could be made, like a trading Vooch. Maybe somehow getting rid of Javon Carter. Maybe move Lonzo Ball. John says everybody suddenly forgetting about Io. Io may be the odd guy out, unfortunately. Hey, I just said, man, I hope that Io is still around. I think that would be it would, as much as Giddey and Coby have worked harder to improve their defense, if Io can become that lockdown guy, that lockdown 3-and-D guy, he definitely would still need to be on this team. And I said, we'll see. I mean, it's a lot of questions going into the offseason for the Bulls. It's a lot better than what we thought it would be, right? I mean, we thought, hey, this team's probably going to make the play in this 10th seed and get bounced again. And then you got to figure out, hey, how much are we paying Giddey? Are we going to get some draft luck to where we're drafting in the top 4? And now it's looking like, hey, we have a solid backcourt that we could build around, retaining Giddey, keeping cap space clear to re-sign Coby. Maybe Io takes, a cheaper deal because he's worried about his shoulder injury, that he's out for the rest of the season with. He had to get surgery on it. It says it just keeps popping out of that place. It's been doing that for a while. So, maybe he gives a hometown discount to the Bulls and they keep all three of those guys Modest continues to develop, we can still get a solid piece in the draft. That's around the 10, 12, like 14 area. Um, probably won't be a starter, right? But you still need bench depth, and I think the Bulls have pretty much gotten a little. We have a little bit of depth. Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, they show promise. Like I said, Kevin Herter, he's balling now. Trey Jones, even if you can't like re-sign Trey Jones, you should be able to work out a sign and trade for him to where you get something for him because he was playing um too good to let him go for nothing. And having solid depth pieces on lower end contracts, that's an enticing thing for a team who may have a star player who has asked for a trade, where you get some solid young depth and some draft picks. So, hey, who knows? Somebody says the need to line up Giddey, Coby, Io, and Modest. Yeah. Yeah. That could be like a Bulls def lineup. Somebody else says give Peter Patton a raise. Hey, Peter Patton has done wonders with the Bulls. He's their shot coach, getting the players 3-point shots right. Shout out to a boy that Giddey shot last night where it just looked good the whole way, and then he held the follow through the whole time. And I'm sure Peter Patton has talked to him about you got to hold the follow through, and it was cash last night. Local Bulls fan says, "What do you think the Bulls need the most to add to Giddey, Coby, and Modest? A star." um, if not a star, you need a big man that name Nikola Vucevic, one who is a capable defender, can rim roll and finish around the rim. Somebody who looks more like how Zach Collins has played with the team, to where he doesn't have to play that deep drop zone like Vooch, because he can step up and he can guard the pick and roll well. They need a big like that. If not a like I said, a star player who is going to do star player shit on the court and lead the Bulls to wins. So sounds easy enough, but easier said than done, I guess. Especially with AK, who who said a whole bunch of nothing during the broadcast, like last night with Statham Adam during the second quarter. That man just does not need to speak unless he takes some communication classes, because people still aren't buying what he's selling. Even though it does look like it's coming together a lot better on the court as of late. But, like I said, people still have their doubts because, hey, it's March, so we don't know. So, making the playoffs, or, at least getting 2 games in the play-in, they're going to give you a little clearer picture on if what he has started as a foundation to build upon, whether you can build that house or it's just going to crumble into rubble, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. Somebody says AK just needs to speak in Lithuanian and allow us to Google Translate. I bet he would say more. That's possible. Get him a Lithuanian translator and just tell the man don't speak no more English. But that's about it for today's show. Thanks everybody for tapping in. We're still riding the high off of that improbable win, that incredible shot from Giddey. Bulls are back tomorrow in the game against the Dallas Mavericks. And, Melissa should be back for next week's episode. Again, happy birthday to Melissa's mom. Morris, hope you feel better, my dog. And Until the next time, go Bulls. Appreciate you, Sammy. Appreciate you, John.